Okay, hello and welcome back. We are continuing the live stream of our life beginnings and always, where we basically follow our friendship slash relationship with Cove Holden. Um, this is Cove as a little boy, and this is Cove as an adult, or one version of him. You can customize Cove's appearance as you grow older. So, we're finishing up with the first step. Um, Last week we started playing the DLC for the first step, and we are going to finish up the DLC for the first step. I will include a link to the game on itch and Steam. It's available on both. The base game is available for free. Excuse me. The DLC is not, and there are other DLC you can get the soundtrack, you can get voice names, but I didn't do that because I was like, I just want the DLC. I just want the extra game time. And this is all brand new for me. I have not played any of this before except for the beginning and the shocking episode, I guess, at the moment. But the rest of it's brand new. It's good. And once we finish playing the DLC, I haven't decided yet if I will click to move on to the next step or to start back with next week. I guess it depends on how long it takes to get through these DLC. If you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe and make sure to hit the notification button. Because each subscription is one subscription closer to monetization, which would mean ads, but it'd be a little money in my pocket, basically. But more than anything, I just want people to enjoy these, and it's a way to try before you buy it. If you like what you see, then you can go ahead and buy it. I don't make any money from putting the links in the description. It just makes sense to do that since I'm playing these games. Might as well give you a way to buy them, and give you the opportunity to buy them, I guess you could say. So there we go. Barbecue. I love barbecue. Where's my cursor? There it is. We've been brought along to the big part today, which is an excellent job of living up to its title. Just near your house with this lonely playground equipment wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. There's a huge park not far from where I live, and I did softball for a few years, and there's softball fields where we played our games, and there's also baseball fields, which is actually, baseball fields are closer to us than the softball fields. As it was in the next town over and too far for you to walk by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, so you soaked up the environment. The difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shallow, and Co. Today was the busiest you'd ever seen it, thanks to a community get-together luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Sounds good to me. Your family and clothes were just two of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as it took in a growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lucy bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. Okay. Why do I always forget to grab my dice? Okay. Very. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'd be me. I'm hungry. It is going to be so good. Mommy had told you that people in the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted to get something in return. Which is why you'd not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. That's sweet. Every time the car made a turn, she'd clutch the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Of course. Mr. Holden's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice boxes, stuck under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there'd been no such dramatics around that cargo getting there in one piece. The boxes looked like the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
Everyone all set? Should be. So, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated, his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile.
Good
kid. Kid, I don't want you getting burned or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day. I am very pale, so I burn easily. Even if I put sunscreen on, it's never enough. I always forget to refresh it later.
Well,
I don't think there's going to be any risk of that second part. I'm not at the tabletop ahead, Lana, with all kinds of food and drinks. She was right, there's plenty to go around. Parents headed over with you, Lucy, and Cove trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the table. Some of it was familiar: chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips. There was a lot that you didn't recognize. Their moms had said you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. Okay. 1 or 4, 2 or 5, 3 or 6. 3. Dealing with risking class. It'd be bad if you got in trouble before the event had even started. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Holden had deposited the food and drink they brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final word, but returning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great. Along with the ones out there, there's a giant ice cooler on the ground, stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was soda, water, juice, and milk. Okay, different juice board. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. You slurped the creamy milk through the straw until all too soon you were sucking up on the air. The little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden's back to his desk, pantomiming enjoyment. That hits the spot, but you kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the table. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking out. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie had at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings. Nodding her head towards a group of kids like a general directing their battalion, she pointed the way.
Come on!
Let's go over there! Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. We're going to go put the other kids. You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, and Lizzie pelted away at full speed. You and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you'd reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers.
Hi.
I'm Lizzie. That's my little sister Julia. The one with the cast is Cove. Hi. Cove simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. The couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing on his arms folded over his chest. What are you up to? First kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers, had introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face obscured behind the huge glasses she wore. You haven't decided yet. Glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, he saw the spray of water first and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face before he spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. I guess that was why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's how. Lucy raced over with a glint in her eyes and her braid streaming behind her. She spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, and the trigger had already been pressed. Rude! Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was screaming. Cove wiped the water from his face. He rubbed it in her ear, trying to dislodge the water that had cooled there. Worried, you looked at Cove's blasted arm. You knew that he had to be careful with it around water. It's okay. The girl simply darted out to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She doesn't mean anything by it. Lizzie titted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl, not meaning anything by it, didn't she expect that she'd been sprayed? Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lizzie's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah! Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. Let's do it. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Okay, you nodded along. No thanks. You shook your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shaking my head. She sat on the sidelines as the other kids chased after the girl with the pistol. Spotting them racing after her, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Let a couple of drunks squeezed out. These words causing discord within the group as they stumbled over each other in their uncoordinated attempt at turning. Okay, 1 or 4, 2 or 5, 3 or 6. 5. You clapped. You applauded to the kids about to pounce on their target. The gap between the hunters and the hunted was narrowing. Eyes wide, you watched as Lisa lunged and tackled her friend to the ground. Got her! Panting, she punched the air in triumph, then pushed her glasses back up the bridge of her nose. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah! I'll do it. You won't get away from me. They all dispersed, squealing and laughing as they tried to evade capture. The water moved from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as it, the scent of smoke places up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sank down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. We should get over there. I'm so hungry. Yeah, if you run around like that. Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye. It was cool playing. Yep. Bye. Bye. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. The tickle line twirled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to keep them, but another cough obstructed your words. Oof, that's quite a cough.
Aww.
Are you alright, sweetie? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. The smoke will be gone soon. No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There's no response from the other two kids here. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't worry, I'll get it for you. The main thing being served is the batch. You can have whatever you'd like on it. There's different meats and veggies.
Well,
what would you like on yours? Mom is right. There's plenty of options. I assume we're going to pick one from here and one from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. Beef. Oh, you can pick more than one. Okay. Yucky. This will be fun. Yeah, let's just pick one meat and one veggie. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. And that's everything. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. Order given, you are waiting for your food to be ready. Lucy headed towards you, having issued her own request. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. Noticing that Cove approached, she turned to him. What are you having?
Why?
Why does it matter? I don't know. I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables, except onions. Lucy hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. Yeah, it is. It's been an argument. We already finished. Lucy peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands. They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove. I didn't make the wrong choice. Let's go with that one. Just a kebab somebody else eats. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, one for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden. You've got the goods. Cove's daddy is looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to the rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. They have to be if you can skewer a speck with them. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want to scrape in the roof of your mouth or dropping your tongue. Mommy clucked her tongue. It would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set the food down for a second.
True.
That's what you get for the price of 3, but we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. The parents led you back to the table, so it's immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to set one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. Clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cove took his seat next to you. Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final unclean kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
This looks delicious. Thank you for getting us a space out here. Everyone tucked into their food, but you didn't think you'd use much energy standing around. You felt very ready to enjoy your dinner. Oh, just the smell of the food grilling would have had me salivating. Perhaps it had been the delicious smoke that had filled the air, along with the smoke that had so irritated your throat. Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
I do a lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. You could enjoy the occasional round of at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress. Your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need a good drive or two to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit. I don't get it. The drive is a type of golf shot. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
How nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. So, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day. I like scuba diving, though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading, snorkeling. Mr. Holden exaggeratedly puffed out his chest. What can I say? My boy's got good taste. He takes after his dad in that way. The sun had been setting when you got your food, and by the time you finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. Kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient yourself was what made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now the food is just gone. You've got to wash your hands.
Okay.
Julia, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers, and Lizzie rubbed them together, working out any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. Your turn, Julia. I hate having sticky fingers. Scotty and Lizzie washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head. I'm sorry, typical boy.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed his fabric with a scrunched-up napkin. Dad, it's not that bad. When everyone was cleaned up or as clean as they could be with a limited facility, Mom spoke up. Let's go make one last check of the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time. We have to get a good spot. Everywhere's going to be taken. I thought I'd go ahead to save space again. You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect space. Wait.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Gosh, Lizzie is so bossy. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
All right, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Julia, do you want to go get the drinks? Okay. Okay, I'll get all the stuff you need. As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, he joined Cove and Mom in returning to the cooler where he'd picked up the drinks earlier. Even if you approached you suspected you wouldn't find much in it, where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. That's a cute picture. Twin pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful in amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process. Aha! Julia, Cove, you can take one of these if you want. The perks of helping. Do that. Cove hesitated, but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else from the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold it tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hon. How's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated by a hunt as Mommy gave her directions. Catching your eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on. You better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field, and the separate groups of people assembled there back to the rest of your family.
Hello.
We're here, and we come bearing drinks, so there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You held up the extra juice box. I brought this for someone.
How sweet.
You're so thoughtful, Julia. Despite Mommy replying pretty expectantly, there was just one person who made a claim to the sweet drink. Can I have it? Okay.
Thank you.
I love you, Julia. You two are a real pair. Once everyone had been equipped with the drinks for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Those people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. You were a bunch of kids who still dashing about, but their number was steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box moved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is.
What a
I
pickle.
hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lucy and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Is it going to come to us, too? Mommy softly put her hands on top of her sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lucy might bolt over to the stranger. Lucy didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case?
We'll have to wait and see. We're definitely intrigued. Studying the man with the box closely to gradually meandered nearer, you could make out that he was handing out small items to most of the groups he stopped at. It seemed to be too short to be water bottles, but beyond that, there remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert? Lucy squealed, hopping up off the ground. The man chuckled. I'm going to take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu, vanilla flavored with a touch of either chocolate or a strawberry syrup.
Nice.
Nice. None for me, though. Thanks. Same, but the offer's appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry from you, too, please. Now you are going to have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry? Oh, for me, there's no choice. Chocolate. Okay, we're not going to be that shy. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. Oh gosh, I remember those. I remember getting those when I was little. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kids, are you going to thank the nice man too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend too much time with each group considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lucy was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. You couldn't help thinking about how Cove was strawberry while you had chocolate. Want a bite of mine? Looked around awkwardly, but nodded nonetheless. He got a bit of ice cream, making sure to hit the chocolate swirl that distinguished it from Cove's, and he held it out for him. He nibbled at it. Do you want some of mine? Yeah. He scooped out a chunk of ice cream with his wooden spoon before holding it out to you. You took it gladly, and it was gone in one bite.
Oh.
Aww. Mom was gazing at the two of you. Her mouth was an open smile, as if she was about to say something else, but Mom tugged on her collar. Don't embarrass them. Hey, if you're sharing, I'll take some. You don't need it. You both have the same flavor. So what? Yeah, seriously. You just want some because I offered him some. You shook your head no. Lizzie stuck her tongue out at the both of you and turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Yeah, seriously, it'd been one thing if we'd both gotten strawberries. If I'd gotten strawberry and she'd gotten chocolate, but I got chocolate because it's me. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled on her pants.
Please.
I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her with a dollop of the ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheeks and dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I just can't resist. Julia, would you like some of mine? You've got a whole cup of the ice cream to eat already and had a bite of Coke. I think that's plenty. But that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. No, I already had some. It's okay. See, Julia knows how it is. It doesn't hurt to ask. But yeah, thank you. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
What? The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm. Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
All better now? Oh, that's kind of sweet. Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you get the choice, too. Cove shook his head for a minute, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. Then the first firework cut to the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed into the light. Squealing, Wizzy let her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as the fireworks crackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Yeah, no shit. Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lucy would jump into the air. The event was thrilling. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. Loud noises hurt your ears. You covered them with your hands. Kind of neat. You shrunk back, hugging your knees to your chest. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're gonna actually. Where's my D10? Here it is. Okay, so 1 or 6, 2 or 7, 3 or 8, 4 or 9, 5 or 10. Finding your discomfort, Mom came to sit behind you. She placed her own hands over your ears, further muffling the cacophony from above. Having Mom with you made you feel better. It didn't seem bad to take in the fireworks while she was around. Cove shuffled close, his worried eyes flashing back to you with every new explosion in the sky. Mommy's gaze was on you, then your parents made eye contact. Mom gestured with her hand to silently say things were fine there. Mommy smiled, then hopped to her feet and joined Lucy in jumping up in tandem with every crack of the fireworks. They had a little party together. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scenes impassively. He didn't smile at you and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of a spring as they arched into the air. Others shook straight from the ground and shattered into a million tiny spots. Every color got a spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. You eventually noticed that at some point Mr. Holden had let Cove perch atop his shoulders, or more likely Cove had to be persuaded to give it a try. Still, Cove's face was covered with a wide smile that matched his father's own. You imagine the view from way up there was pretty impressive. It was also nice that they were getting along for once. The show built up to a grand finale that bloomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights representing the full spectrum of the rainbow. As the final glittering embers dissolved into the night, you released a deep breath. The afterimage was still burned on your retina, leaking up behind your eyelids with every blink. Within a minute, the image had been lost, but it was burned deeper still in your mind. You'd been so focused on the show that your foot had gone numb beneath you, and it was only when you attempted to stand that you felt the tingling sensation of blood rushing back to your toes. I've done that. I still do that. Cove was on the ground again. He flashed him a grin, which he immediately matched. Getting to share the experience with a friend made a fun night even better. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air in your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed by the firework display, then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. Excuse me. So yeah, we made this step through the moment to just move on to step 2 next week. Yeah, it's kind of fun doing it with the dice, letting the dice pick. I mean, obviously there were some things that I was like, no, I'm not going to leave it up to the dice. I know exactly which option I'm going to do. But I'm trying to use the dice to be more random, because I do tend to pick the same options over and over again. I'm trying to change that. I already have plans for what I'm going to do with the new challengers for Market Spirits when that comes out. which planning is sometime this year, but we're not sure exactly when this year. There is no firm release date, at least that one that the devs can share. Okay, runaway. I wonder who's running away. It was early and you were on your way to the playground. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. It was forefront in your mind, which is so might be agreed to come too. As you walked the familiar street, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you. It was as if he was a mind reader. Hey, Cove, can you come to the playground with me?
No.
No, sorry. It looked strangely serious. It had to be an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. He's wearing a backpack. I'm leaving, Julia. What? Where? He shifted and your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. It was like stuff things in his pockets from what you've seen. But people sometimes carry bags with them. It hasn't been very attention-worthy until now. The bag was decorated with cartoon waves and dolls. He gripped on the straps tightly with his good hand. I just wanted you to know. So then glanced up and met your eyes. He started to grow worried. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't get it. So where are you going? Oh, can I go too? I'll come with you. Okay, so 1 or 6, 2 or 7, 3 or 8, 4 or 9, 5 or 10. Zero, which is 10 in this case. I'll come with you. He looked up at that. You hoped he would agree, but instead he shook his head. I'll come back though, sometime. I don't know when, but we can do stuff then. He directed a fragile smile your way. Not another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away. We're gonna do this. Wait! He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore. What's that about? He watched as his back grew smaller and smaller. He didn't realize that he was still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. He thought about your earlier plan of playing at the head. Suddenly, it didn't seem as fun as well anymore. All about Cove. It wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. Okay. 1 or 3, 2 or 4. 3. You went to play at the head. It was still sad Cove wouldn't be there, but you wanted to stick with the plans you had on your own. Maybe Cove and his dad were going on a vacation. That had to be it. You reasoned. After all, Cove said he was going to be back. He wasn't moving again. I don't think that's it. You resolved to spend time with Cove when you saw him next time for sure. After a couple of hours at the playground by yourself, it had gotten firmly into afternoon. You were on the swing set with your feet buried in the sand when you spotted Lucy in the distance. She was rushing over like something was on her tail, chasing her. You knew she would be coming, but was she that excited to get to the park? Instead of matting the swing beside yours, Lizzie stopped in front of you. She bent over, balanced her hands on her knees, and panted. Did you hear? Hear what? Lizzie bounced back up, her eyes blown wide. You only saw her this one step when she found some new hiding place of my sugar stack. It's about Cove. Cove? Something in the pit of your stomach dropped at hearing his name. You listened intently as Lizzie explained. I just came out when I saw lots of people gathered around in the middle of the street. They were just talking kind of quietly, which I don't think I was supposed to hear, but that just means it was important. Typical Lizzie. So I snuck up, and I heard everything. She paused dramatically. Clearly, she wanted you to say something. So, what did you hear? Oh no, I don't really care. You just looked back at her. Oh boy. Okay. 1 or 6, 2 or 7, 3 or 8, 4 or 9, 5 or 10, or 0. 0. You just looked back at her. Lizzie frowned at your lack of response, but she continued anyway. Who was missing? You left a piece of paper for Mr. Holden to tell him he's going away and will be gone for a long time, and no one's seen him since. Now they're searching the whole neighborhood. The grown-ups are even saying that if they don't find Cove soon, they'll call the police. The police? This was horrible. He had seen Cove. He knew he was going someplace, but he had no idea it was like that. Is Cove going to be arrested for running away? Then he might have to go to jail too for not saying anything and letting him go. No, that's not why the police would get involved when someone goes missing. But you're a kid. You don't know this. He glanced back at Lizzie. Should you tell her that you'd known about Cove leaving, or would it be better to keep that to yourself? Lizzie, do we confide in her? No. Now wasn't the time to bring it up. Actually, finding Cove was more important. Plus, all of this wasn't your fault. You had no idea that things would turn out so bad. You watched as your sister began to pace in front of you. I know Mom said Cove was sad about moving here, but running away from home is crazy. Where else is he going to go anyway? I don't know. I want to find him. I hope someone finds him soon. Yeah. I've go to tons of places. He didn't answer her. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fine. I've go to tons of places. Lizzie starts her face up, thinking deeply for a moment. Then she nodded and planted her hands on her hips, determined. I'm gonna look too. You are? Mm-hmm. You could play the park any day, and the more people that are looking, the quicker someone will find him. Maybe I'll be the one who does. I'm the best at hide and seek after all. It seemed like Lizzie wanted to look not only because she was excited about Cove, but also because there's the most interesting thing to happen this week. Wish me luck. Before you could say anything, she ran off in the opposite direction from where she came. You left in the dust in a matter of moments. What's your sister for you? The Lizzie's appearance in this crisis faded to the back of your mind just as quickly. Oh. He told his dad he was leaving to go somewhere by himself. Why did Cove suddenly decide to do that today? If something bad happened, it's impossible to say for sure. Fortunately, you had no idea where he could have gone. He got hurt. There were the hills behind your house. He'd gone there the first time you met. If someone would have checked it already, they wouldn't need the police for that. Cove must be far away, or hiding somewhere. The whole neighborhood was looking for him. He swung back and forth, his lips pursed in contemplation. If I were Cove, where would I go? Lizzie said Cove was crazy for running away from home. But he never considered Sunset Bird his home, did he? His real home was somewhere else. There's only one place that came to mind that might be important enough for Cove to go off like this. It's a good idea. It's a chance he's going to get there. Could he take a bus? Was he going to walk the whole way? He didn't know what direction he needed to take. So wait, there's only one way he could go. Going down the street just led to the beach, so that couldn't be right. Going to either side would mean he'd get stuck by buildings and fences and big slopes like the one behind your house. That left going up the street. You know that road. It led into the main part of town and kept going all the way to the city limits. Cove didn't know the area well. He didn't think he'd want to go off that road onto some random other street. But if someone followed that path, they might find him somewhere along it. The grown-ups tend to all be looking in the neighborhood, so... oh boy. I know which one I would pick, but we're going to let the dice pick. So 1 or 3, 2 or 4. You had to tell them where to search. You rushed to where you had abandoned your flip-flops and slipped them off. They slapped against the sand as you left the playground. On your way home, you spotted Mom almost instantly. She must know about Cove and was looking too, because she was wearing a worried frown. Her expression cleared up when she saw you walking towards her. Julia, I'm glad you're here. Cove is... She cut herself off, sighing deeply. Why don't you head inside? I need to stay out for a bit longer. Something's going on right now, but we'll take care of it. Mom tried to usher you into the house, but you didn't budge from where you stood. Mom, I think I know where Cove went.
What?
How did you even find out he's missing already? She shook her head before you could answer. You know what? That's not important right now. Where is it, Julia? You told her your hunch. She listened intently. Main Street. That's not good. I'll drive down there to make sure he doesn't get far. Mom muttered that more to herself than you, but you heard her all the same. Can I come with you? Mom turned back to you and shook her head.
I'm really
I'm sure
sorry.
you're worried about Cove, and that's good. I need you to wait at home with Mommy. If I find him, I'll bring him straight here, okay? You were disappointed, but you nodded. She stroked your cheek, smiling softly. Mom guided you to the house with a hand on your shoulder. You both went in. Mommy appeared quickly. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you, thinking about who she might have been talking to. Mom briefly explained what happened before she grabbed the car keys. Mommy sought her out. Soon after, you were hurried into the kitchen. You sat at the table while Mommy microwaved leftovers, which you gobbled up. You didn't even realize how hungry you were. The two of you settled into the living room after that. Mommy put a cartoon on the TV for you to watch while you waited. You snuggled up against her side as you watched the show, warm and safe. Your mind was still on Cove. Did Mom find him out there in town, or was he actually somewhere else? You didn't have to wait long to find out. Halfway through the episode, you heard the front door unlock, and it swung open with a shout. We're here! I got him, Lanny! Come on in, Cove. You stood up from the couch and ran over. Your heart was beating so loud in your chest that you could hear it in your ears. Mom was putting the car key door. Cove stood nearby with his head back. You squinted to get a better look at him. Cove looked exhausted. His eyes were rimmed with red, nearly matching his glasses, and there were dried tear tracks stuck on his cheeks. Oh, thank goodness you found him. Yeah, he was on his way down Main Street, just like Julia said. Cove shuffled his feet at that, but he remained silent. You could tell that he felt out of place. You weren't the only one who noticed his discomfort.
Okay.
You must be tired, Cove. You can sit down wherever you like. Mommy smiled warmly and motioned him to the living room. Cove looked up at her and lumbered over. You walked close behind him, frowning. Cove was always pretty quiet, but this was a different kind of quiet. The living room wasn't far. It was separated by a wall, so you heard your mom talking softly. He wanted to go see his mother. Poor thing.
Well,
That explains it at least. Still, I'm not sure to excuse it. It was so dangerous to go off into town like that. He's having a hard time right now. You can't expect a child to handle it maturely. True, it can't be helped. But that's another that. We should tell Cliff and the others that he's here before the panic gets out of hand. There could be riots.
Is that all right?
I'll call, then I'll go to the front to tell everyone's still out there. You keep an eye on the kids. Make sure they don't take any more trips today. Got it, hon. I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense. His parents are divorced. He's been taken from his mom, and he hasn't been very happy with just his dad. And his dad's trying, but bless the man, he's really still clearly out of his depth in some ways. But I hope that we see their relationship get stronger in future steps. So just sat down on the couch, putting his backpack down beside him. He stared at his hand. This is so weird. What is? Everyone was looking out for me. They all know I tried to leave. I don't want to run away and not come back this time, so I don't have to see them again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. No. I don't really want to pick that one. That isn't going to help. I just need to talk to them. Don't forget about it. I guess I'll have to. Before I could say anything else, the front door opened. Your mom was back with Mr. Holden close behind her. He made a beeline for the couch, his gaze straightened on his son. That's what I like, is that we see a single dad trying really hard to connect with his son, and well, isn't quite responding, but his dad keeps trying, and I love that.
Cove?
God, are you alright? Strands of his hair had fallen out of his ponytail. His eyes were darkened like he'd been crying too. Aw, see? He stood up at his dad, his own eyes wide behind the frames of his glasses. He really hadn't expected it to be such a big deal. I'm okay. Good, that's good. I'm so glad to hear that. He crossed a hand on his son's shoulder, attempting a smile, but the corners of his lips twitched and spasmed, as if they wanted to wilt into a frown instead. Both seemed to have that effect on him. Mr. Holden turned to you, still grinning weakly, then looked at your mom. Thanks for your help, as always. He laughed pitifully.
I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry for ruining your afternoon with this. I can't apologize enough.
It's okay.
There's no trouble, Cliff. Really, it couldn't be helped in a way. Something is bound to happen sometime. We're just happy we could help, and it feels safe and sound. After the first time that day, you recalled your original meeting with Cove. He'd run away then, too, and not as far as he had today. Cove must have had a similar thought, because he mumbled an apology. Sorry, Dad. I won't leave anymore. Promise. Some life seemed to return to Mr. Holden, thanks to his goodness. This time around, his smile was more genuine.
I'm so glad.
That's a relief to hear. Next time you feel like running off, come to me first, okay? We can talk about it. I'm here for you. Cove nodded. His dad reached out and left his hair playfully. Although he made a face, Cove didn't try to dodge the hand, as he usually did. Progress! We're making progress! Let's go home, bud. I bet you're as tired as I am. Mr. Holden took over carrying Cove's backpack, still clasping a free hand on his son's shoulder when he stood up from the couch. The five of you walked over to the front door so you could see them all. Mr. Holden thanked your moms profusely at least 3 more times before he walked out the door. Cove was made to follow. They stopped and turned to you before stepping through the threshold.
Thanks.
Thanks, Julia. For what? Your mom said you were the one who told her where to get me. It was good. Then I went back. My smile played across his lips there and then gone. We're gonna hug him. Before he was gone, you reached over to give him a hug goodbye after a hard day. You held your back more tightly than you could have anticipated. You almost squeaked out a noise. I'm glad you're here. His embrace was tight but brief. He let go as soon as he said what he wanted to. And with that, Cove left. Mommy closed the door behind them. You were left feeling overwhelmed. The fatigue must have been obvious because your mom sent you off for a nap with no more discussion on what happened that day. Once your head hit the pillow, your eyes slipped closed on their own. After the nap, everything else was just blurred. You were settled into bed for real later that night in what felt like just a couple moments. You woke up much more at ease than you had felt when you were last conscious. It was almost like it was a dream. It definitely wasn't. Your mom's faces when you saw them assured that. After breakfast, you sat down and your family went over yesterday's events in full. They were pleased that you came to them the moment you had an idea where Cove disappeared off to. As a reward, your mom's promised to take you and Lucy out for a treat later. It was more than a welcome change from the worry you'd been dealing with. Mr. Holden talked to Cove about what happened, too. He didn't know what was said exactly, but Mr. Holden forgave Cove immediately. He didn't do anything to punish Cove for running away. He blamed no one but himself for Cove's desire to leave home. You caught your moms discussing it once in hushed tones, frowning at each other. It was pretty serious. There was a word you used you hadn't heard before. Self-flagellation. What's it to say about me that I know what the word means? But there wasn't anything they could do to change Mr. Holden's mind. Your neighbors stopped you and Cove often for the next week or so to express their concerns and disapproval of the event. Still, as they always did, days continued to pass. So they talk about Cove running away. Things eventually returned to normal, as they had to. Summer kept going, and you kept having experiences you shared with Cove. Okay, one more DLC. Well, moment, period. I'm going to check something. Gallery. Okay, so I still haven't unlocked this action. Yeah, that's sleep over.
Okay.
Alright, kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. Your stomach grumbled right on time. I just heard your mom's words. You called to your game and looked over. Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood and the closets were putting down cutlery. Mom was still in the kitchen, humming under her breath as she turned off the stove and set empty pots in the sink to wash. From beside you, Lizzie stirred, uncrossing her legs and standing up. She stretched her arms over her head. Finally, I'm ready to eat. Then she cast a side glance in your direction. You recognize that look. Passing to the table is a rotten egg. I haven't. It was too late. Lucy had already bolted towards the kitchen. We're not going to race her bait. If you didn't get up and race after her, then technically Lucy would be winning against nobody. She could have that kind of victory. Cross your arms over your chest, remaining seated and launched. It was a short distance to the kitchen table. Lucy managed to get there easily enough, slapping a hand over the wood. Mom moved just before Lucy could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work. I win again. No, I told you we were both racing. You're just so slow. I wasn't racing, and you know it. That sounds like something a rotten egg would say. Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, and looked over your shoulder. So you can be the tiebreaker. Was that a real race that I totally won? You blinked. You hadn't noticed what he had been doing during this event. It wasn't much. His eyes were still on the floor. His legs were crossed beneath him, the arm of the cash resting in his lap. Looked at the two of you with a slight frown. That's sort of strange to seeing so here so late. Tonight, Cove would come to your house for a sleepover. Your mom and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You weren't surprised. You were the one who had asked your mom about it. They had told you they would ask Mr. Holden. He looked forward to it since the moment you found out he agreed. And you even helped Mom search the storage room for sleeping bag and extra bedding to prepare for his visit. Cove first was upset with his question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring him. Not that Lucy would make it easy. This was the first time she had asked him to be a referee for one of her 7 races.
Come on.
Well, did I win or what?
No.
Oh. What? I don't think you won. How come? It's not my fault Julia's slow. Cheating's cheating, and cheaters never win.
You always pick her side.
Because you're a brat. I looked like a shy peek at you before answering her. I pick her, and she picks me. You're a couple of rotten eggs, then. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. Me either.
All right.
Now listen to Mom and come sit at the table for dinner, all 3 of you. You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you when Mom turned her back. The parents brought the last of the food, then took seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Only Cove was left up. He had stood up from the spot on the floor, but he hadn't made a move towards the kitchen. So, you can sit too. Slowly he eyed the 4 seats that were left. Next to the new seating arrangements your parents chose, one free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side of where your moms were sitting. So I'm assuming you and Lizzie are like here, these seats are empty, and your moms are here, and then these seats are empty. Yeah. My family, there's 6 seats around the table, 1 at each end and then 2 on each side. Cove's gaze met your black eyes. Briefly, he grinned back. He walked over and pulled up the chair next to yours and sat down. He was glad he wanted to sit with you. He just needed to know it was okay. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates.
Okay.
Again, kids, I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. Be sure not to avoid all of the veggies. My parents said that when we were little, we would eat all of our veggies and none of the meat. Which is odd, because usually kids eat all the meat and avoid the veggies. But nope. We would eat all our veggies and leave the meat. Because of course we filled up on veggies. So they started serving us the meat first to make sure we would eat it, and then veggies. Yes, Mom. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clenched on the top of his knee. He didn't feel very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. One dish seemed to have a diet list. That's pineapple chicken. Want to try some? Not really, sorry. By then your mom should know that Cove still had nothing on his plate as well. You not like any of the food, honey?
Well,
Maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. He hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating, and she spoke again. You should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink, that's what happens if you miss a meal. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. The full name. Oh, not the nickname, the full name. When it's the full name and the middle name, then you're really in trouble. When it's first, middle, and last name, you are in serious trouble. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with the fork between his fingers. I've had some things. Not any of this.
Oh, shoot.
I knew I should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. It's all right, Lanny. Maybe he'll find a new favorite today. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying the food anytime soon. Okay. I haven't rolled a dice in a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. You should try something new. Aren't you tired of eating the same old things? Me? No. We're only trying to help, but since make Cove even more resistant to tasting any of the dishes. He sat back in his chair, holding his arms across his chest stubbornly. I like the same old things. Mom shook her head over the debacle this was becoming.
It's okay.
You know, it isn't always exciting for everyone. It could be this time, Cove. Sorry, I didn't mean old things were bad. Cove loosened his stance again at the comforting remark. Well, it's dinner, and you shouldn't eat nothing. The ribs and chicken are yummy. I guess Cove trusted her judgment, because eventually he took another of the 2 dishes and put them on his plate. At first, Cove poked at the food. Really, he was apprehensive to eat something new. They took a few exploratory bites.
Right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it? You don't have to keep asking. He still stirred more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. Not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied, even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. Of course she isn't. It's Lizzie. I hope she improves as you get older, too. Grows out of the bossy stage. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends. Oh. Mommy punched her in the face with Cove's blunt honesty. You weren't surprised by Cove's declaration. The more you got to know him, the more you realized he wasn't the type of kid to keep his opinions to himself. It wasn't easy to go along with all the time, but Cove didn't make much of an effort either. Okay. Well, that's 5, so 1 or 6, 2 or 7, 3 or 8, 4 or 9, 5 or 10 or 0. 3. You wondered how I felt about you. You had never asked before. When you gave Cove a look, he returned a small smile, and that made you feel good, even though you were still unsure of what it meant. The mommy looked at Mom and only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. There's just different perspectives. It's not a nice thing to say to anyone. But, Pam, I tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. We're trying to make it audible over the sound of speaking silverware, and that you caught the quiet words anyway. We're not friends. He said so. As parents, we can only try and sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be sick as thieves. Now, less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon. But, Mom! No buts. We talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few years. For now, you don't get to stay up late. Lizzie felt muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. Okay. 1 or 4, 2 or 5, 3 or 6. 5. You gloated about it as well. It seems too early to go to sleep.
Isn't that great?
The sooner you sleep, the sooner a brand new day will be here. I think that's pretty exciting. You weren't sure you agreed. The rest of dinner passed by uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when you nudged him and tried to get him to talk. All too soon, the table was cleared, the games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow, just as Mommy poked her head in the room. All ready for life talk, you two? You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later if it got too hot. Mom had set up a sleeping bag on the floor for Cove, just beside your bed. You had already wiggled inside. You nodded for the both of you in response to Mommy's question.
Good night.
Perfect. I'll go say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squeaked in annoyance, and left. Molly took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed.
Sweet
Sweet
dreams.
dreams, sweetie. She pressed a soft kiss on your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mommy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved her attention to Cove, who had watched from his spot on the floor. Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? What does your dad do? Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high, and he shakes his head that he's gonna let go. But he catches me again. He keeps doing that until sometimes he does drop me on my bed. Or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Cove become pretty excited when talking about the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. But I don't want to do that here.
Oh.
How fun! So I think you're right that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be soft enough landing. Is there anything else you can unfasten me or Julia's other mom? But I'm the nicer one. Just don't tell her that. He laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Well, Cove. That's a cute ritual. Night. Leaning against the door jam, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked to you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. With a lax smile, Molly turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. But even as the sound vanished, your eyes stayed open. It was so exciting to have Cove spending the night. You were happy that Cove was staying the night, but you couldn't shake the conversation from earlier at the dining table. Cove had said he and Lucy weren't friends, but that wasn't the part that was bothering you. You couldn't stop from wondering what he really thought about you. Let's ask him. Cove? Yeah? Are we friends? Cove didn't speak for a few moments, and he wondered if he'd startle him with a question. The longer the time stretched, the more uneasy you felt about his impending answer. Do you think we're friends? Wrinkled your nose at the question being redirected back at you. The way Cove had asked it made you think that maybe he hadn't even questioned it before, and now more than ever, you wondered if you should have kept quiet instead. Yeah, we're friends. As the words left your mouth, you knew they were true. Okay. You could only just make out Cove's outline in his sleeping bag, but you could hear the smile in his voice anyway. It felt good to have an answer to the question burning in your mind. The two of you were officially friends. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could see a faint outline of a lump under the covers. Oh? What's wrong? You can't sleep. Why not? Shifted, or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark. You heard his sleeping bag rustle. I want to be in my bed. Oh. So set up, your eyes got used to the low light level so you could see him better. Got out of the sleeping bag, waddled towards your side of the table, and pulled open the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. He sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his head out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. Cove turned it around in his hands, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You knew, even without reading the title, which one it was. That was one your mom would read to you. It was special. I thought you were looking for your glasses. I was, and I felt this. It looks cool. The compliment he afforded your special book, and you grinning your confusion. You confused your forgotten. It is really cool.
Oh?
Oh yeah? What's it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight, and there's magic. Does it have mermaids? No, but... I love the main character because the squire is really brave and funny, but they start working for this knight who's rude to them. Nobody believes they can be a knight, but that doesn't stop the squire. They go on an adventure to show the king they're worthy. Cove looked excited by your words. He flipped the book over and focused at the backside summary. He must be pretty interested in it. You were reminded of the hours you spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it, or had it read to you, you were still entertained by the story and pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky. You climbed out of bed and climbed over to the side table. You opened it and ran your around, pushing to the side stuffed toys and crayons. Hope called out to you in a confused whisper. What are you doing? You'll see. You let out a quiet cry of victory when you found what you're looking for. Jump back onto the bed before any hitting bogeyman could catch you unaware. Hope continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you discarded earlier, pulled it up over your head. What? Come on, check it out. Bring the book, too. After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it. Then the blanket shifted. You filled with the flashlight in your grip, pulling for the switch. Quick, the small space flooded with the bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand up to shield himself from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Sorry. You tilted the flashlight so it shining down across the floor as your blanket gave and away from Cove's sensitive eyes. That better? Yeah. Now we can read, and my mom won't know. Oh, they'll know. I do this all the time. My mom or mommy check on me. I hide everything under the blanket, so I haven't been caught before. You want to try? Hope nodded. Please try a straightforward response. Place the book between you. Flipped it open to the first page. Meanwhile, he lay down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine it on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. He mirrored his position, leaning in so he could see the book better. His forehead nearly brushed until he shuffled back a comfortable distance. He loved it when Mommy read to you. Why not read it loud as you dare this time of night? You didn't even need to study the page for long. There was once a squire who dreamed of knighthood. All they wanted was to do good. Cove was taken aback when he began to recite the words by heart. He even pronounced knighthood properly, a word which would give you grace in the past. His reaction encouraged you to keep going. Soon you got to an exciting part. The squire of the dragon church meeting. The squire walked up to a fearsome dragon with a fiery sword in one hand and a torch in the other. The red scales danced in the light like flickering flames. Is this where the dragonflies? You need to get your glasses? No, my head hurts if I don't wear my glasses for a while. I can kind of see things alright, but I don't know any voices. That's okay. It's fun anyway. Let me just... Cove read the page, his mouth moving silently with the words. Eventually snapped himself and spoke them out loud. Who goes there? Roared the dragon. Who dares enter my cave? It's your turn. You went to the squire's turn of speech. The next time you looked up from the page, your gaze landed right on Cove. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile lighting up his features. The lock of his hair had fallen into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. Sorry when Cove caught you watching him. He raised a questioning eyebrow. What? Nothing. Cove shot you a strange look, but he went back to his lips. You did too, even as your eyelids started to droop. Your eyes opened again. Your bedroom was pitch black and falling. Your head was smushed in your pillow, your pajamas were sticking to you, and your mouth was dry. Slowly you raised yourself onto your elbows. You yawned, the back of your throat clenching as you did so. You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning on getting water from the kitchen, when you saw a dark-shaped tower above you. You flinched. Then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Oh, is that you?
Yeah.
You shifted and felt something cylindrical pressed against your thigh. You stumbled for it, the familiar weight of the flashlight pressed into your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. Pajama pants were left on the floor, abandoned. The sleeping bag was in a similar state. What is it? I can't sleep. I keep waking up. Did you have a bad dream? He shook his head from side to side. No, just can't sleep. It's weird here. You frowned. You helped your mom redecorate it only a few months back. I like my room. Not that it's bad. I just always sleep in my bed, in my room. That made things a little clearer. It wasn't anything that you'd done. Cove couldn't sleep in a new place. He wondered how long it took for Cove's bedroom in his new house to not be weird to him. Probably a while. I'm gonna go. What? That shook off the rest of your doziness. He was going to walk outside back to his own house? This time by himself? He noted your shocked expression and looked at you with bizarre. My dad will let me in. I've gone outside a week before and I have to go. You don't have to. It wouldn't even be a sleepover if Cove left in the middle of the night. It was called a sleepover for a reason. Cove looked frustrated, but you got the feeling it wasn't you specifically. What do you do? You were at a stalemate, running yourself beside his sleeping bag. Is there a way you could make him more comfortable? Cove didn't like how weird your room was. Maybe you'd feel better if you had something more familiar nearby. No. You went to your bed and grabbed your blanket. Then you spread it over the floor beside Cove's sleeping bag. You watched as you did, winking. You're sleeping on the floor? Yeah, next to you. Hopefully that'll help you sleep easier. Is that okay? Uh-huh. He spied a small smile playing on his lips. We can try it. But if it doesn't work, I want to go home still. I get it. He grabbed his pillow and a few plush toys for good measure as Cove picked up his pajama bottoms and folded them, then set them aside. He tossed the items in your hands onto his blanket, completing your task. The two of you stood and looked down at your handiwork. Are you going to change into your pajamas? No, I can sleep in this. There wasn't anything else left to say, and Nathan, you both laid down side by side. So put his glasses aside and got into his sleeping bag. You made yourself as comfortable as you could, wrapped in a fuzzy blanket. The floor was hard and unforgiving against your back, not at all as comfy as your bed. So you didn't mind it much. You've fallen asleep on the floor before. The matter was if it helped. Swiveled your head to observe him. Is it better? He poked the top of his face out of the sleeping bag and mumbled bashfully, I don't know. I have to sleep first. I can't tell if I can now. You couldn't help but be disappointed by the answer. Promise to wake me up if you want to go? Phil looked confused by the request, but he nodded anyway.
Okay.
Sure. He smiled. At least he wouldn't disappear without you knowing. You settled in for bed on the ground, closing your eyes. Your room was straight to come. You wanted to give Cove a chance to get comfortable. Surprisingly, he decided to keep talking. This was my first week over. I guess. You opened your eyes to see him staring up at the ceiling. His seafoam hair spread out around his head like he had just gotten shot. Really? I've had sleepovers before. Sometimes I'll go to friends' houses. Shiloh slept over a few times, too, and other stuff. Cove remained quiet. Bones stretched between you. That didn't feel awkward right now. You didn't feel the need to break it immediately. How was it? Or is it? Not bad. I liked reading your book. You did? I kind of thought you weren't having fun. You didn't really say anything when we were eating. I didn't know what to say. Oh. Now you were the one who didn't know what to say. You laid there and so did Cove for what felt like a long time. Hey, Cove? There was no answer. You leaned on your elbow to see Cove's eyes closed, to flash his head over the apples of his cheek. His chest raised and lowered with every inhale and exhale. He's fast asleep. You smiled to yourself. Good night. You rested on your back to close your eyes. Soon enough, you were lulled to sleep by the gentle sound of Cove's breathing. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. Julia, wake up. It's time to get up and at 'em. The sun was speaking through your curtains, and you rubbed at your eyes as they adjusted to the new light.
How are you?
Is everything okay down there? You blinked at Mom for a moment, confused, before remembering you had slept down on the floor next to Cove. He was just waking up, yawning loudly. His hand lightly hit your face as he stretched out. When you moved away, you groaned a little at the pain in your shoulder from having slept on the hard ground. Definitely wasn't as comfortable as your cozy bed, that's for sure. Cove wasn't feeling good, so I stayed with him. You mumbled and glanced at Cove, who rubbed at his eyes sleepily. He didn't say anything. Still, you were glad he had decided to stay the night in the end. You looked at Mom next, she was smiling at you both. Mommy was standing in the doorway behind her, doing the same thing. All right, kids, we'll be downstairs making breakfast. Don't take too long coming down. She said something to Mommy on her way out that made the two of them giggle. Did you sleep okay? You stood up and stretched your legs, watching Cove fumble with the bedside drawer and pull out his glasses. I think so. You've been unable to relax with just the two of you in the night. Now that a new day had come, he gave the impression of feeling out of place again. With a smile on his face and a gentle light. Thanks, Julia. You're welcome. You made the couldn't be a perfect time. It was worth it. So didn't stay for breakfast. He really was ready to get back quick. Mommy called to make sure Mr. Holden was up before Cove went home. He gave you a small wave as he left, thanking your mom for letting him stay before he disappeared through the front door. Now that the Cove's very first sleepover had come to an end. Okay, and that's it. And yeah, we will move on next week. My voice is giving out. Okay. Right, there we go. So that was fun. So next week we start adolescence. Woo! That's gonna be fun. And like I said, I haven't played this before, so I don't quite know what's gonna happen. So we'll find out together. Yay! So once again, there will be a link to the base game and the DLC in the description of the video on YouTube. If you enjoyed watching these videos of mine, I suppose I should say that I haven't been saying this. I probably should. I live stream about the afternoon Pacific time. Basically after my lunchtime, if I live in California. every Wednesday. Sometimes I will stream on Sundays, depending on if there's a game that I really want to play, but I don't want to take a break from whatever I'm streaming. If you enjoyed this and haven't watched any of my other videos, there should be there are playlists of the other games I've played on YouTube, with links to those games in their descriptions. I try to remember links for every game that I played. The playlist should be self-explanatory as to what the games are and if there's any romances. I don't know who I'm going to romance at this point. They're still kids. We'll see what Cove is like as he gets older. Yeah, so next week we start adolescence. Hurrah! So everybody have a good week and see you next time.